Jewish or invoke the notion of Jewish, or the only time it ever comes up, is in the context of my outspoken criticism of Israeli militarism and the occupation. That's the only context in which it ever appears. And for me, that's a horrifying story about grave historical injustices, about militarism, about contemporary coalitions of militarism, particularly the U.S.-Israeli relationship. It's a story about grave violations of human rights. It's a story about a whole series of really horrific things that have happened, since '67.
Jewish means a lot of bad memories for me.
I put this now in the
Checkpoints, home demolition, machine guns, soldiers, settlers, land confiscation, checkpoints. I think I said it, but we have a lot of it. So, most people experience the same thing back home. Palestinians suffer, I believe, equally. Maybe it's worse in refugee camps because living situations is a lot worse than people who live in towns and villages. But it's a collective memory we have of Jewish people. Unfortunately, I never had contact other than soldiers in my life. With Jewish people, their presence is only soldiers. That's the only way we saw them. So the daily life back home and the Jewish presence that is always unfortunately comes in a form of soldiers and a tank and a jeep. And
people who define me as a self-hating Jew. I mean, again, it's an oppositional story, right? I mean, the only space in which Jewishness and what it means becomes a topic of discussion, is the anger that other Jews feel toward those Jews who are critical of the occupation and who want to talk about human rights and who want to talk about militarism and who want to talk about injustices and the sort of global alliance of injustices and, what it means to...
As soon as we strayed into anything political, I felt she got very cruel very quickly. She's, self-identified as a Zionist, has said a few things, sort of anti-Palestinian words that really hurt me, and I struggle sometimes with reconciling this woman who I look up to and who I aspire to be as far as a business, as far as a work, or as far as like I guess a boss. And when I look at how kind she was and how smart she was about everything, and then hear comments come out of her mouth such as saying that Palestinians don't deserve to live, including children. And I said back, you don't mean that. And she looked at me in the eyes and said, yes, I do. And I struggle because she's still in my life and she's still doing great things for the community in New York. And that still burns a hole in my heart when I think about the fact that she said that. And I feel that since then, I'm now involved with more people who are sort of along the same lines, conservative Jews in New York. Good people. I mean, for the most part, they care about their community. They give back to the community. They're always looking to try to reach out to other communities. But on the other hand, politically, I really don't think that they have any connection to thinking of Palestinians as having any right to anything in some ways. I think that it's so weird. How can you have such a kind, giving, caring outlook, for all people except for one group of people? I don't really understand that. And I don't understand how you can cut off all of those good acts and good intentions and draw the line when it comes to thinking a little bit harder about what exactly is going on, and as far as even looking at the